I don't think the alliance is hollow. I think it showed in Libya and it showed in Afghanistan over the last 10 years that it has enormous military capability. What we see, though, is that there's an unevenness in the way that capability is developed and maintained and sustained. And so what the alliance needs to do is look at how it can get more capacity from existing resources, which we know are going to get tighter over the coming years. And so this commitment now to smart defense and a better rationalization of the way defense dollars and euros are spent is really the key to the future. But I don't think that the alliance has shown that it's not hollow. There are certainly some doubts about the level of commitment that all allies have to not only to collective defense but to other operations with regard to promoting international security. But I think it's more a question of will. It's not a question of capabilities. I think smart defense, which is a notion of that in a time of fiscal austerity, can the alliance, all allies, not just the Europeans, but even the U.S., can emphasize elements of smart defense to get better value from the resources available, to look at different ways in which we could pool and share through multinational cooperation certain capabilities that not every ally needs to have in the same degree, that we can look at ways in increasing the transparency in the way defense budgets are put together. One of the things we've seen in recent years is that a number of allies have slashed their defense budgets and not really taken into consideration how that's going to impact the overall military posture of the alliance. We need to reverse that course, and I think smart defense and the NATO defense planning process is set up in a way that can help to prevent that from happening and continuing to happen and eroding the alliance military capabilities. And lastly, I do think there's this whole question of yes, we may have to see some decisions, some tough decisions, particularly for smaller allies, that they cannot maintain in this environment, this financial environment, a full spectrum force. Not everybody needs to have a first-line air force. Not everybody needs to have the full array of military capabilities in the alliance. But that's going to require a certain amount of trust, because if you give up certain capabilities, and let's say that you're a country like Denmark that gave up its submarine force to maintain its capabilities to contribute in Afghanistan and other missions, well, if there is someday some kind of maritime threat to Denmark, it has to be able to count on the idea that other allies will provide elements of that defense. And so that was going to require some firming up also of collective security and collective defense commitments. Well, there are a couple of significant deliverables. First of all, there will be three sort of showpiece initiatives, if you will, or major deliverables, as is used in government parlance. There'll be this decision that the alliance will go ahead with first of all, announcing an implementation and initial operational capability of missile defense for Europe, the European phased adapted approach. Secondly, there will be agreement on continuation of the Baltic air policing initiative over the coming, I think it'll be about 5 years or so, and that allies will continue to provide that support to the Baltic states. And then lastly, there will be an agreement on the NATO air-ground surveillance system that has been under development and quite controversial over the years, but a recognition coming out of Libya and elsewhere that we needed that capability. There'll be a package of some other initiatives in the area of smart defense, less visible ones, pooling, sharing initiatives, other ideas on multinational cooperation. And then also there should be some long-term discussion about some longer-term deliverables that would be in the area of aerial refueling and other advanced reconnaissance capabilities, some of which could involve European countries alone working together and perhaps providing some real dividends to European defense industry. And so if that whole package can come together, I think that'll be some significant signs that the alliance is serious about making good on this notion of smart defense and a longer-term commitment to a NATO force that we will need as I think the punchline will be a NATO force for 2020, which is one of the themes of this summit.